I know this is an extremely difficult concept to accept, but one of the things I hear every single day is, Mr. J, there's no way she or he could have loved me doing everything that they did. And one of the things that I say all the time is, if you take, and I don't want to call the person you love a serial killer at all. I'm just trying to get you to understand their mindset. A lot of these serial killers, like take the Green River Killer, he would go out and pick up women and do the most gruesome things to them and then come home and be loving to his wife. Or who was it? The Warner's lady. She would do all kinds of things to her Johns and then come home to her girlfriend or whomever and be loving. And these people would be on the news saying, it's impossible. I don't know if you're familiar with John List. I mean, he took all of his family out, not out to dinner. He took all of his family out. And then years later, he got married and his wife said, there's just no way my loving Christian husband could have did away with his previous family. You got the wrong guy. And I say all this to say, when you are in an affair trance, when you are in a sexual hookup trance, if the person that you are with, went to massage parlors or hired professional escorts or whatever, your mind is literally divided. So absolutely, you can commit the most atrocious acts with an affair partner. And I say atrocious acts because, when you're married or when you're in a committed relationship and you do anything outside of that, it's atrocious. I don't give a crap what it is. And then come home and be the most loving person. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people actually have to dissociate or categorize, and so they make their partner, their spouse, their significant other into a monster. That way they can alleviate guilt and shame. So there are that too, don't get me wrong, because if you're saying, well, Mr. J, they didn't come home and be loving to me. They treated me like crap. That was to alleviate their own guilt and shame. But keep in mind, people that get into looking for extramarital affairs or activity, it's not because they don't love, well, listen, polls, surveys, and studies show the majority of people that do this, it's not because they don't love their partner, it's because they don't love themselves and they don't have the coping mechanisms to handle the overwhelm and the stress in their life. So, I say all this because I understand you say, there's no way my spouse loved me during this. There's just no way. Well, let me just tell you something. That's not what polls, surveys, and studies show. That's not what I've been working with clients. I can't tell you how many clients for how long. People don't get into these activities or affairs because they don't love their spouse, their partner, their significant other. They get into these behaviors because they don't love themselves. And yes, they're in two different mindsets. They can and I know this is painful to hear. Absolutely, they could easily love you, be completely in love with you. But their mind separates and they go into this alter world. So just keep that in mind. Is that, they absolutely very well could, in fact, indeed, studies show, polls show, surveys show, my own experience working with countless couples and people show, they weren't acting in love. They certainly weren't making decisions in love, but they could have been in love. There's no doubt. And I know that's a hard concept to wrap your mind around, but it's almost like dealing with two different people, two different mindsets. One is when you step into a fair world or secret world, and the other is when you come home. It is so cold here. However, the scenery is absolutely beautiful. So I wanted to give you that because a lot of people say, how could they not love me? It's absolutely, I'm telling you something. I know it's a hard concept to get around. They do. They have, and they are loving you. When they were in this mindset, they weren't acting in love. They weren't making decisions and choices from love, but that doesn't mean they didn't love you. I know it's a hard concept, but it's the truth.